Okay, so let's assume uh, an average Joe, that's an average person, man or woman in the society that wakes up every morning to go to work or school or to their business. Okay, so let's say this Monday morning, I am prepared to get to work. Okay, so I decide to set my daily budget. I've calculated my expenses and everything, and I've decided that within a day I shouldn't go above 5,000 naira. So I'll come to the budget area. So you can see I already have a budget, so I can set a daily budget here. Select daily, select the category, which is general. Okay, I've already set 5,000 naira as my daily budget. Okay, so so in the morning, Monday morning, typical Monday morning, I bought a commercial vehicle to work. Okay, so all I need to do is to come down here to the add transaction section, okay, of the dashboard. So I can enter a description, which is TP, that's transport to work. Okay, so let's assume my transport to work is 800 naira. So I've entered the amount. The type of transaction is an expense. So you can see expense is selected. The category of this transaction is transport. So I've selected transport. The date is there, the current date. So I can add the transaction. Okay, so you can see today's transaction, transport, has been added. Okay, so let's assume, okay, along the within the day, let's say during lunchtime, which is usually by 12 p.m., I decide to get food for lunch. Okay, so let's say I spent 3,000 naira for my lunch. Okay, typically, let me just say I had snacks for lunch and I spent 1,500. Let me use that. It's a realistic amount for somebody whose budget is 5,000 naira per day. Okay, so I come here and type the description. Let me say I bought meat pie and juice. Okay, amount I spent was 1,500 naira. Its type of transaction is an expense. I'll now say category, I'll say food and dining. Okay, so I've also added the transaction. You can see it here, meat pie and juice, 1,500. So now if I come to this place, you can see my expenses, total expenses for the day has amounted to 2,300. My net income is negative 2,300. Okay, which shows I have only made expenses during the day. Okay, so further in the day, let's assume a friend of mine or a colleague of mine gifted me, let's say, 2,000 naira. Okay, so I can come to the add transaction section and add gifts from, let's say his name is Bright. Bright gifted me 2,000 naira. I cannot come here to the type to set it as an income. Okay, so I can select the category. I can say gifts. Okay, so I can add that as a transaction. So if I come to today's transaction, you can see the gift plus 2,000. Okay, so if I come to this point in the dashboard, you can see income of 2,000 entered. So my net income is now has now reduced to negative, from negative 23 to negative 300. Okay, so I still get the warning that my expenses exceed my income today. Okay, so if we go to this budget section, you can see that I've spent 2,300 naira so far out of my daily budget of 5,000 naira. So I now have 2,700 naira remaining in my budget for the day. Okay, let's assume work closes for the day and I am going back home. I boarded a commercial transport back home. So I can see transport from work. Let's say I spent 1,100 naira. The type is expense. Category is transport. I've added the transaction again. So here you can see all the transactions. Okay, so if I go to the dashboard, the top side of the dashboard, you can see that my total expense has now increased to 3,400 naira. Okay, my net income is now negative 1,400 naira, and my budget, I've spent 3,400 naira out of my daily budget of 5,000 naira. So I have 1,600 remaining to spend out of my budget. Okay, so this is how an average Joe out there, an average person, can add their day-to-day financial transaction. Okay, so let's assume I want to go back to reflect on my previous transaction. What I can do is I can come here to download a report of all these transactions I added, the daily transaction for today. I can download a text file or a PDF. Okay, so this is a text file. Okay, you can see daily finance report for today is actually Saturday, so 26th July, blah blah blah. We have income 2,000, which was the gift given to us. We have expenses 3,400, no savings for that day, and net income is 1,400. That's negative 1,400. Okay, so you can see the description of the transactions here. Okay, so that's how you can manage your daily financial transactions in the daily personal finance tracker app. Okay, guys, that's it. You have option to check the history of your transaction. So you can go to the history, transaction history, to check the transaction, your previous transaction. Okay, you can see here, let's say I want to check transactions for this week, all the transactions for this week. Okay, so you can see all the transactions here are mostly expenses, TP from work, okay, of things that were bought during the day. Okay, so here too, you can generate and download a report for the week or the period you select. You can set a custom date range, say from 1st of July to the current date. Okay, 1st of July to 26th of July. Okay, so it will show you all the transactions that you added in the app during this period. So with this, you can decide to download, can decide to select text or PDF or as a CSV file. Okay, so that's that. So the final verdict is that yes, it is worth using this app every day for taking note and keeping track of my day-to-day financial transactions. Okay, plus the app has other features such as savings, investment, an AI advisor, which is a new feature that was just recently rolled out. You also have advanced insights and many more features. Okay, so guys, check this app out. It's a really cool app and very useful for everyone to keep track of all their day-to-day financial transactions, whether it's an individual or a business. All right, see you in the next video where I'll be talking about a different feature. Thanks for watching.